CSCO Dr. Ishwara Reddy, Chairman, Confederation of Indian Industry, National Committee on Biotechnology and MD, Phoenicia Biotech, Dr. Rajesh Jain, CEO Invest India, Mr. Deepak Bagla, and Dr. Suchita Ninave, Advisor DBT, and Dr. Alka Sharma, Advisor DBT.
मुझको नवल उत्थान दो, माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो। मुझको नवल उत्थान दो, माँ शारदे हंसासिनी वागीश्वरी मुझको अगम सुरदान दो, मासन दो। निष्काम हो मन कामना, मेरी सफल हो साधन दो, माँ सरस्वती वरदान उत्थान दो। 100 वर्ष तक जीवन दो, माँ सरस्वती वरदान दो। मुझको नवल उत्थान दो।
Thank you so much.
Of this August gathering, no pharmaceuticals. As you all know, biotechnology is one of the major thrust sectors under Make in India with all its stakeholders to achieve the target of $100 billion bioeconomy by 2025. DBT along with its PSU, BIREC, is organizing Global Bio India from 21st to 23rd November, New Delhi. Our partners for this event are CII, ABIL and Invest India. This is the first of its kind biotechnology stakeholders conglomerate challenges in the areas of biomanufacturing, clinical trials and drug discovery, capacity building, shifting global supply chain. Meetings, exhibitions, webinars and B2B meetings are some key components of Global Bio India. In these 30 countries, 250 startups, 200 exhibitors, participation from central and state ministries, regulatory bodies, industries globally to attract these stakeholders. Today we are here for the curtain raiser ceremony of Global Bio India Inaugurate Nanopharmaceuticals. These guidelines have been prepared jointly by DBT, ICMR and CDCSO.
And its public sector undertaking, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, are organizing Global Bio India 2019 from 21st to 23rd November 2019 at AeroCity, New Delhi. India, with 1.3 billion population and rising unmet needs, offers both a breeding ground for development and deployment of solutions in healthcare, agriculture, food and nutrition, waste conversion, sanitation and clean energy. Government of India initiatives such as Make in India, Startup India, Innovate India, Ayushman Bharat, National Biopharma Mission reiterates the thrust focus on the biotechnology sector. India is among the top 12 destinations for biotechnology in the world, valued at $51 billion. Global Bio India 2019 is expected to draw around 3,500 plus delegates from across the globe. Biotechnology is one of the key drivers to India's economy target of $5 trillion by 2024. Indian biotechnology sector is poised to grow exponentially. Global Bio India 2019 include events such as B2B, B2G, G2G meetings, policy dialogues, bio-partnering, CEO Roundtable and Investors Roundtable. World is looking at India for innovative low-cost, high-quality biotech products and technologies. This happens to be the most exciting time to host Global Bio India, India's largest biotech event. Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC have taken this initiative to create one of the largest biotech events to showcase opportunities of entire India's biotech sector to the world. Global Bio India, power to transform billions of lives around the globe. Join us on this opportune journey. Jai Hind!
On behalf of CII and my personal behalf, it's my great pleasure to join here for the curtain raiser ceremony. Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary DBT, Dr. Alka Sharma, Dr. Suchita, Dr. Ish, guests, ladies and gentlemen. In the last 5 decades, biotechnology industry in India has become a sunrise sector as one of the key drivers for our bioeconomy to become 5 trillion by 2024, and it has to grow from $51 billion to 100 billion. I remember in June 2019, Dr. Renu Swarup had called for a meeting and wanted to discuss about this vision of 100 billion. During the meeting and at the end of the meeting, I spoke the least. With 6 to 7% growth happening in the previous years, I was just thinking, how will this happen? Doubling the size in the next 5 years, from 51 billion to 100 billion. Small meeting, very intense meeting. Dr. Swarup was like huge power and wanted to contribute under whatever may happen. We have to do it. Since then and now, we met in Invest India conference last week on 18th October. A lot has happened within me, and my memories actually go back to 1994 when our honorable minister was the minister of state, was a minister in the Delhi government, and he announced a very powerful program, which today we see it as a powerful program, but in his own nimble and simple way, the program was called as Pulse Polio Program. It was meant to eradicate polio. 1989 World Health Assembly had actually announced war against polio to eradicate, but until the next 5 years, nothing happened in India. When he joined the Delhi government as the Minister of Health, he announced this program. From 1994, 35,000 cases of polio annually, to the last case of polio in March 2011. You can imagine the 17-year journey it was. And India saw the last case of polio in 2011. And India was removed from the endemic countries on 25th September 2012 and declared polio free in March 2014. A huge win over this disease. When I look at that particular journey, 94 to 2014, 20-year journey to eradicate polio, this was awesome. In 2004, early 2004, I met the health minister. He spent a full day with us. He was not in the government at that time, and he was like a scientist talking to us. What can we do? And at that time, he was writing his book that he gifted me later on, A Tale of Two Drops. In 2005, this book was published, and during that interaction, I actually saw a huge vision in him to see that we need to eradicate polio. We need to bring such vaccines and such solutions to the country in a significant manner, and India must become an innovation hub. No sooner this book was published, immediately Panacea Biotech, the company that I belong to, we actually opened up our R&D center, first R&D center for vaccines. And I'm so proud to share with you that this journey of last 20 years, because of that motivation, because of that vision, we supplied more than 10 billion doses of vaccine, which led to the eradication of disease from India. We opened our R&D centers in our own nimble and humble way. And why I'm mentioning here is that this Global Bio 2019 is another step to take India to the next level of 100 billion. And therefore, not only 1 or 2 or 3 universities or companies or individuals need to participate, but probably all of us will have to get together to make this a reality. 50 billion to 100 billion is not a small jump. Sir, I would like to tell you that our main aim at CII is to make sure that we act as enablers and make sure that India becomes a biotechnology hub through this Global Bio 2019 as we did with you way back in 2004. We want to do that once again. What motivated me was not that we have found a path to go to 100 billion, but a commitment that Dr. Renu Swarup showed in that meeting in June, and once again we saw last week. I think it is that motivation, that commitment to do it. Pathway we will find. Otherwise, this won't happen. So I tell you, sir, that I am so proud that today from India we have done an invention of developing a fully liquid hexavalent vaccine, which was not possible. Even large multinationals could not do it. The motivation was 2004, our meeting, which left me in awe that we need to do something big. And sir, today we have patented that particular technology in more than 30 countries. And why I mention is achievements like this need to be actually showcased in Bio 2019 in across sectors. This is a product which has got $1 billion opportunity lying in front of us. WHO has seen it, UNICEF has seen it, Gavi has seen it. They have made a special group of people with Panacea Biotech to take it to the next level and make sure that the entire 73 developing countries get access to this vaccine. So not only 1 or 2 companies, I believe Global Bio 2019 is all about all companies in India getting together to reach 100 billion. It's not that only one company has to do it or do it alone. We need to get together. And in this spirit, we have collaborated, and I want to showcase this to everybody. We have picked up Serum Institute of India as one of our partners to make this Indian invention globally available. And only through such partnerships will we be able to grow to $100 billion in the next 5 years. I would also like to share at this event that in CII, we believe that bioagriculture is going to be a tremendous opportunity to provide employment to the rural sector, to farmers. We all know that Delhi goes through this pollution every year. And stubble burning in Punjab, Haryana, the neighboring states is actually responsible for it. At CII, I'm pleased to share with you, in 2018, 19 villages were adopted across Patiala and Ludhiana. 16,000 acres of land, farmland, was considered as part of this pilot project. 3,000 farmers were enrolled, and the program was unleashed. In 2018, 80% of the farmland that we covered, stubble was not burnt. Whereas in 2017, when we compare, 95% of that particular land stubble was burnt. So what did we do? We actually, at CII, developed complete technology and demonstrated that to the farmers for implementation. They did not have to think about it. They did not have to organize any resources about it. They simply had to understand and become our partners in execution. Rice straw was actually used to sow back into the land as a fertilizer. It was all about telling them how to use this new technology rather than burning to increase their crop yield. We carried machines there, changed their behavior to actually share this machine among themselves, because after certain days of use, this machine is of no use to them once that particular stubble is removed. Through sharing, through change of behavior, through technology demonstration, through how much water to use, the yield of those farms increased and the terrible weather in Delhi to some extent was avoided. I think partnerships like these will help us grow faster. Now the program in 2020 is going to increase from 19 villages to 102 villages, 6 districts in Punjab and Haryana, and almost 100,000 acres of land, farmland, which will be deployed to ensure that crop burning does not happen this year. So this is through such partnerships we can reach to a $100 billion economy. So, sir, we at CII feel that all these sectors are important for India to become the third largest economy in the coming years, and we will contribute to this ambitious aim of becoming a 5 trillion economy by 2024. CII has always been with DBT for every initiative, and going forward, I wish to reiterate that CII will give more time and attention and all that necessary support to DBT and BIREC. We are indeed thankful, sir, to the Honorable Minister and Secretary DBT for giving CII this particular opportunity to be part of Global Bio India 2019. Thank you, sir.
The reason why I say that is because biotechnology is now one of the fastest growing segments within that. In fact, sir, the team is here, and what we witnessed is the team is currently handholding 19 critical investment opportunities which are happening on this one. But more interestingly, it has expanded its scope across a larger number of countries than where we used to get these initial interests coming in from. So it is very timely, and it is not just the 50 additional billion we are looking at, ma'am, which you positioned us for, but more critically, this is the element which propels virtually every other sector which we are dealing with. And more importantly, if I may add that, you know, on startups, we are now number 3 in the world in number of unicorns. We've added a unicorn every month this year. We are number 2 in the world in number of startups, and we are number 1 in the world with new startups adding every day. And the reason why I say that, because one of the fastest growing verticals in that entire startup industry is biotechnology. And ma'am, I have to compliment you. Just recently you had this event in Hyderabad.
Doing this curtain raiser today for this very mega event that we have proposed, and that is the Global Bio India. Our partners, CII, ABLE and Invest India, have shared with you the reason that we need to do the sectors. And as you all know, in the Make in India 2.0, biotech has been identified as a champion sector. Honorable Minister, sir, each one of us, when we talk about it, refers to your passion to drive a particular mission, with the pulse polio being the basis for it. This gives us the confidence that your leadership will help us to take biotech as a mission to where we want to achieve it. And if I can share with you, sir, when I've had meetings with all the stakeholders, including the industry, we actually feel we can do much beyond the 100 billion that has been projected. Although Dr. Jain says 51 to 100 in 5 years is a tough job. But let me tell you, sir, where we are positioned today, these sort of events would probably give it the leap that we are looking for. And once we are on that, the exponential growth that the sector can see, the potential is enormous. As always, we are being very modest, not just in conveying to the world what our opportunity in the sector is, but also we are being modest with our ambitions. The biotech sector has definitely seen a huge growth in the last 5 years. If you look at just the startup ecosystem, as Deepak said, we are today the third nation, and if you look at India, If you look at the numbers which ABLE has brought out in the report of crossing 2,000, nearly 2,500, if I remember correctly, in the last 5 years, it's been more than 50% have come in the last 5 years. If that really is the scale at which we are going, the various enablers, the various policy incentives which have been brought out by the government, be it the Make in India, the Invest India, the Startup India, and various other policy incentives in terms of the financial incentives, and of course the ecosystem which has been developed. And this ecosystem is not just what DBT and BIRAC have put together for the biotech. We have the Niti Aayog, the DIPP, the various institutes which come with ICMR, the CSIR, the DST, Ministry of Agriculture, all together. I think that ecosystem is what is conveying the level of confidence that we have within ourselves, but we would want to exhibit this to the world. I would just like to mention here that details of the event have already been shared with everyone, but our ambition for this event is that it's not just going to be an event where we bring together people. As rightly said, it is to showcase the strength that we have within the country and to let the world know that India is the destination for biotechnology. We also hope that with the participation of all of you and the response that we've got in this very, very short time, you heard Dr. Jain saying the concept began somewhere in June. It took us a couple of months to put it together. But in this very short time, the response that we've got from all the groups across, we hope that this will actually translate into this event being globally the best event. All of us have attended bios across the world. We do go to different bios in different countries, and each time we've been in that event, we've always looked at our own delegation and felt the size of the country that we are not represented appropriately in this event. And that's when we felt that this type of an event needs to be in our country. We need to host this to get people from outside to see what our strength is. We hope that we will be able to do this with the participation and the confidence that all of you are giving. And lastly, I would just like to mention to you, sir, what we are positioning this event as is not really comparing it to any other event within the world. We hope that when we host this Bio India, Global Bio India 2019, we look at the world looking at this as setting a new benchmark. And probably all other bios would then try to look at this as a benchmark, and India would obviously try to see this as one of its own that we will try to better as we move forward. Thank you very, very much, and we look forward.
Thank you.
Best gratitude to Mananiya Mantri Ji, Dr. Harshvardhan Ji, for his kind approval for release of these guidelines rules 2019. These guidelines are also aligned with international guidelines being followed for the nanopharmaceuticals. However, I must mention that India is the first country who will be having these specific guidelines on nanopharmaceuticals. ICMR Dr. Balram Bhargava, Dr. Somani DCGI and Dr. Ishwara Reddy, former DCGI, for their continuous guidance. I thank all the domain experts, industries, industry associations, regulators and concerned organizations for their participatory role in developing this document. I acknowledge efforts of the working group members, Dr. Y.K. Gupta and Dr. Dean, my program officers, Dr. Dhananjay and Dr. Vamsi. I thank you all. Thank you.
Respected Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Health Science, Dr. Harshvardhan Sir, of Health and Family Welfare has committed to ensure the availability, accessibility and affordability of drugs to all the needy patients. It is our endeavor and it is our responsibility of the as Indian drug regulator. We are ensuring the safety, quality and efficacy of drugs, medical devices and cosmetics in India. As you are aware, globally, the innovation with respect to new chemical entities and also the investigational new drugs the pipeline is really drying up. But there is a lot of scope for the development, for the innovation of the existing drugs for the better therapeutic efficacy and to reduce the toxicity. As we know, not a single drug is 100% safe, especially the drugs of anti-cancer drugs which are highly toxic in nature. First time in the regulation itself, we have defined the timelines for the approval of clinical trial protocol and also the new drugs. I am happy to inform you the timeline for approval for clinical trial protocol with respect to new drugs which are developed in India is just 30 days. And also, I am happy to inform you, if regulators fail to give any response within 30 days, then that protocol is deemed considered as approved by the regulator. So, the Government of India and especially Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is committed to do the ease of doing business and also extend the complete regulatory support for commercialization of any new drug into the market. And also the CDSCO has come up with the new concept of the public relation office. Without any appointment, without any notice, you can visit our office for any assistance with respect to commercialization of your innovation as well as any regulatory clarification and also for any support in the dossier preparation for submission to the CDSCO. Measures for ease of doing business in CDSCO not only with respect to the clinical trials and also with respect to medical devices, cosmetic regulations and also the blood bank regulations. Once again, my hearty congratulations, thanks to the Secretary DBT for coming up with this new guideline in association with
pharmaceuticals. They are quite robust and very, very positive guidelines, and I believe that as our country has done phenomenally well in generic drugs and vaccines, as we heard in the morning, we have to respond to newer therapies, and the industry has to respond, the regulators have to respond, the investigational agencies have to respond, the clinical trials for newer therapies, so as to make them available in our country in a cost-effective manner. And this guideline is one of the pathways for getting these newer technologies, newer nanopharmaceuticals into the country. Whether it be developed here, whether it be licensed here, they need to be cost effective for treatment, because this is a new challenge that our society is facing. Newer and newer technologies are coming and they are more and more expensive. So how much the industry and the country has to respond so that those newer technologies are available to our patients in India at lower cost. Scale of numbers is one, but how we have to have our own IP or license it in such a way that they are available to all our patients and citizens at a low cost. If we look at what has been the cap in the Ayushman Bharat is 5 lakh of rupees per family. So we have to get technologies which are below that cost for our patients in our country. And I think these guidelines are a step in that direction, and I wish them all success. Thank you so much for it.
The Honorable Union Minister for his address, please.
And our dear Rajesh ji, Dr. Suchita, all the distinguished intellectuals of this biotechnology family, all people from universities, industry, academia, startups, innovators, media, our other CSIR directors, biotechnology people, everybody is here. Well, friends, I'm sorry I have kept you waiting for some time for unavoidable reasons, but I'll not test your patience anymore, because I know that whatever was needed to be shared with you at today's curtain raiser function, it has been amply done by the previous speakers. and all this overview about the big activity that we are planning between 21st and 23rd November. They have been shared by our speakers. I was just reminded of what our dear Atalji said once when he was Prime Minister. That was the time when there was this IT revolution in the country, and he said about IT, he said this is India today. And about biotechnology, he said that it is going to be Bharat tomorrow. And I think that the type of progress that has been made for the country through biotechnology and the type of dream that we are now having for taking this 51 billion economy to 100 billion and being a major contributor to the ambitious target of $5 trillion economy in the next couple of years by our Prime Minister, and our confidence to be able to contribute significantly to that. I think that speaks volumes about not only the ability but also the potential of biotechnology per se. I have been Science and Technology Minister for 5 years, and I have always got this conviction that science has the ability to actually help the people solve most of their issues. But this biotechnology is something which is, I think, closest to human well-being. It is a life science, and whatever discovery you have here, whether it is a vaccine or a drug or biosimilar, whatever it is, everything actually contributes directly to improving the life of the person, to get him rid of the disease, to give him a better drug or a vaccine, etc., etc. The recent discoveries of some of these drugs and vaccines like rotavirus is an ample example where something which costed so much in the West, in I think very minimal amount we have been able to provide that vaccine because of the researchers' contribution, because of the contribution of the industry to the universal immunization program. And in this second tenure of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, now we have made rotavirus vaccine available to every child in the country in the universal immunization program. And of course the very fact that in next couple of weeks people from 36 countries have already promised. The booklet that has been released today, it says that there are already 30 plus countries who are going to participate, 275 exhibitors, over 3,500 delegates, over 250 startups, and then of course it has been mentioned there's B2B, B2G and G2G meetings. Media is always there, omnipresent, policy dialogues, bio-partnering, CEO roundtable, global regulators meet, investors roundtable, state connect, and all the, of course, there are other departments of the Government of India also here, startup biotechnology workshops. So everything is going to be there, and I am very hopeful that the way things are progressing under our Prime Minister today, the last couple of hours also we have got this good news that from 77 we have you can say improved our ranking in the whole world. We have gone up to 63. So it's a significant jump. I remember that we were the only country which had in fact recorded a 30 points jump in one single year, and I was part of a function where Prime Minister was sitting with the World Bank chief, and the World Bank chief, she said that I don't remember there's any country in the world where they have had a jump of 30 points. That was a couple of years back during the course of the last 5 years itself. So and of course You have just heard our drug controller also talking so much about so many reforms. I always used to feel bad that there are so many regulations which really don't give a good healthy atmosphere for researchers also, for these drug trials, for these, and then many times the courts have to intervene. And also we have radically reformed and revised everything, and we have looked at the things in a most progressive manner. We have taken every stakeholder on board. We have taken all positive suggestions from the society, and we have applied our mind very, very critically and positively, and then only we have come forward with all these guidelines. So he has already mentioned about all those reforms that have been brought in terms of for drug regulations and research, etc. And then of course these nano pharmaceutical guidelines. These are, of course, he rightly said that every drug has a huge potential. So if you can really ensure that you give those drugs and make those nano pharmaceuticals because nanotechnology, we have done so much of progress in the last couple of years that we are ranked third in the whole world, and it's the right time that we have the application of nanotechnology. And of course then how you use it, you have adequate good quality guidelines and advisories from the government also, so that as a doctor I can also appreciate that if you can give a drug in nano amount and then hit it at the right place, so you can take care of all those likely side effects, etc., etc. And then I know that we are now also in the process of making guidelines for nano agri also, like how we can use these things in agriculture. So there is so much which is happening in the field of biotechnology, so many startups coming, so many people being supported through BIRAC and through our department. So it's a huge, I think, activity that's going on, and with so many likely investors coming from all parts of the world, and with organizations like CII and Invest India. The other last week itself we had the 25th technology summit that we have been doing through our Department of Science and Technology with the cooperation of CII and others. And we had the King and the Queen of Netherlands who were there, the chief guest, and there were over 200 companies only from one country that had actually partnered in that summit, which was jointly organized by us in coordination with CII. So I am very happy that CII is also here, and Invest India is also here. Many others are also going to be joining in, and the presence of Rajesh Jain ji as chairman of CII, because I have known him for almost 25 years, because when we had dreamt about getting rid of polio from this country, and from then to I think till recently also, his company is probably the only one in the country which has given millions of doses of polio vaccine to the country. And I think for the whole world also, India is probably one of the major supplier of vaccines. So this the contribution of Rajesh Jain ji's company, and now with his company coming forward with other vaccines like dengue, etc., that is also part of history. So what he was mentioning about, why he was mentioning about this book that I wrote and was released by Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji in 2004, that was not 2005, was because when I was writing this book, so I had this inquisitive mind, and I just wanted to see that place, how these 2 drops of vaccine are actually made, or from the you can say A to Z. I wanted to understand everything. So that was the first time during the course of my writing this book in 2002, I just tried to find out where is this Panacea factory located. And to my happiness, I knew that there was one factory in South Delhi, Delhi itself. And I went and visited that factory, spent a day there, and saw from the closest of quarters how this polio vaccine is made, and got some photographs of their labs and put it in this also. So what, it's not that polio has been eradicated, but what I think is important, that each one of us who is working in this sector, he has to be a dreamer. And once you are a dreamer, and if you dream something big, but my experience says that if it is in the larger interest of the country or the society or mankind or people or for the world, then you get the God's blessing also, and you get everybody's support also. So now it's not about getting to that 5 trillion economy, or only getting to those $100 billion dollars economy through biotechnology, but the money that will come into the economy. The biotechnology research will help the human body to, I think, get rid of its suffering, but also that money will help the living better for that human body, or for the poor people. Whatever is being the, you can say, positive outcome of the fastest growing economy. There was so much of talk about economy these days, but the data, only in the last couple of hours, is telling us that it's not, the picture is a little different. We still continue to be the fastest growing and fastest improving in terms of, and he mentioned about those money that is being invested in the country, and he was talking about it. It's not from somebody in the BJP, it's from somebody in Invest India, who are every day talking about economy, calculating economy, reading economy. I am not an economist. So he was telling that the best that has happened to this country is during the last 5 years itself. So I think this is a very, very happy occasion. And I can tell you that 5 years back, we similarly dreamt about this India International Science Festival, and I organized that first festival in New Delhi in IIT. Then next year we improved upon it. We did it in this National Physical Laboratory. Then we went out of Delhi. We went to Chennai to organize that. Then last year we went to Lucknow to organize that. And this year we are going to Calcutta again on 5th, 6th and 7th, 8th November. Last year itself in Lucknow there was almost a footfall of over 1 million people who visited that India International Science Festival. So then we thought that we could also think of starting an exclusive movement separately dedicated to biotechnology this year, and see how we can put everybody in under one roof, and see together how we produce good quality synergy for research, for participation, for helping the young startups, etc., etc. So this is all about this Global Bio India is about this. The heading itself says it's about power to transform lives, and from bioscience to bioeconomy, and it is about $100 billion US dollars by 2025. And you know, last year itself we had a cabinet note where we had launched that biopharma mission. So there are so many things happening in science, in biotechnology and around this, and everything has produced the perceptible, measurable results which have actually shown internationally also. We are like third in nanotechnology. We are sitting in this Earth Sciences auditorium. We are number 1 in tsunami warnings now. We are number 4 in weather forecasting now, next to UK and US and Japan. We are 6th in terms of scientific publications now, literally 5th now, and our growth rate of scientific publications has gone up to 14%, while the international growth rate is just about 4%. We talk of CSIR in a list of over 1,200 institutions, 1,207 institutions all over the world. CSIR is amongst the first 10-12 institutions. So the results of the research and the efforts of our scientists, they are also showing up in the international data and parameters, because those international data are not made by us, or they are formulated by international evaluators. So I wish you all good luck, and I am happy to be part of this curtain raiser event. And I am told, and I know, and I will make sure that there are many more curtain raisers all over the country. When we started the India International Science Festival, so we started with a curtain raiser only in Delhi. Gradually we started improving it. Last year we had over 75 curtain raisers for that in the whole country, and this year we are intending to do almost 100 in the whole country. I don't know how much is the target of Dr. Renu Swarup for this Global Bio India, but we'll have many more curtain raisers for this event all over the country, and of course internationally also. We'll see how we can ensure that this message travels fast. And for my dear media friends, I have a request that please use your pen in the best possible manner, liberally, to ensure that this message goes to each and every related stakeholder, at least in the country and outside the country. Thank you so much. अटल जी जब भारत के प्रधानमंत्री थे तो उन्होंने कहा था कि आज अगर टेक्नोलॉजी रेवोल्यूशन भारत में हो रहा है तो उसके लिए उस समय उन्होंने कहा था कि IT इज़ इंडिया टुडे, और बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के लिए कहा था बायोटेक्नोलॉजी विल बी भारत टुमारो। और आज ये बिल्कुल सिद्ध हो गया है कि विज्ञान के माध्यम से और विशेषकर बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से हम लोगों की जितनी बड़ी सहायता कर सकते हैं, लोगों के कष्ट को जितना दूर कर सकते हैं, उनकी लाइफ को जितना बेहतर बना सकते हैं, शायद किसी और माध्यम से नहीं बना सकते। सारे दुनिया के बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के फील्ड से काम करने वाले, चाहे वो रिसर्चर्स हों, चाहे वो इंडस्ट्री के लोग हों, चाहे वो कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड के लोग हों, चाहे वो यूनिवर्सिटी के लोग हों, चाहे वो हमारे स्टार्टअप्स की दुनिया के लोग हों, इनोवेटर्स हों, इन्वेस्ट करने वाले लोग हों, तो सब मिलकर बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से जो मैनकाइंड का भला करना चाहते हैं। और हम मैनकाइंड का भला करने के साथ साथ जो बायोटेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़ी हुई आज $51 बिलियन की इकॉनमी है भारत की, उसको अगले कुछ ही सालों में 2025 तक हम उसको $100 बिलियन तक ले जाना चाहते हैं। और जो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का सपना है कि हमें आने वाले 5 सालों के अंदर 5 ट्रिलियन की इकॉनमी तक भारत को पहुंचाना है, उसमें हम बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन कराना चाहते हैं। 21 से 23 नवंबर के बीच में ये बहुत बड़ा कार्यक्रम ग्लोबल बायो इंडिया 2019 इस स्तर का पहली बार भारत के अंदर होने जा रहा है। 30 देशों से ज़्यादा के प्रतिनिधि, इन्वेस्टर्स, वैज्ञानिक, वो सब लोग यहाँ पर आएंगे। 4000 से ज़्यादा जो है प्रतिनिधि जो है आने की संभावना है। सब तरह की एग्जीबिशन होगी, सब तरह की फैसिलिटीज़ होंगी, सब तरह का शेयरिंग ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस होगा। इनोवेटर्स, स्टार्टअप्स, सभी के लिए सब प्रकार की सुविधाएं होंगी। देश और विदेश के इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए सब प्रकार की चीज़ों की शोकेसिंग होगी। और फिर बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से हम लोग देश और दुनिया में एक नया इतिहास बनाएंगे। बायोटेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़े हुए हर एक स्टेक होल्डर से, वो रिसर्च का हो, लेबॉर्ट्री का हो, यूनिवर्सिटी का हो, वो हमारे डिपार्टमेंट का हो, वो विज्ञान के दूसरे विषयों से जुड़ा हुआ हो, हम सबको आज इस कर्टन रेजर के माध्यम से इनवाइट करना चाहते हैं कि वो 21 से 23 नवंबर अपनी ब्लॉक करें और इस हमारे ग्लोबल बायो इंडिया 2019 के अंदर अपने सभी साथियों के साथ भाग लें।
Thank you so much.